Again tonight here on the Hill with the Congressman Gabe Amo. He is a Democrat from the state of Rhode Island. Congressman, thanks for being back with us here on the Hill. Appreciate it. So let's talk about some of this plan from the vice president and what she calls, quote unquote, corporate price gouging. If you've lost the Washington Post and the New York Times as a Democrat, you might say that you've lost the policy. Here's some of what they said today. Opinion piece, quote, when your opponent calls you communist, maybe you don't propose price controls. And Barack Obama's former top economist, Jason Furman, here's what he said. Quote, this is not sensible policy, and I think the biggest hope is that it ends up being a lot of rhetoric and no reality. That from a top Democratic economist. Is that what this is, a lot of rhetoric? Because at the end of the day, it's price control, is it not?
Well, first off, thanks for having me, Blake. Look, I think what we heard out of the vice president today is an articulation of what Americans are feeling. Americans are feeling that they are constricted, that they do not have the freedom to thrive in this economy. So if you look at, in totality, what the vice president put forward is an agenda, yes, to drive forth an opportunity set of policies for people across this country, but it's also to be responsive to what we have heard over the last several years, that Americans aren't all feeling the benefits of our booming economy. So when we look at it, as someone who grew up in a middle-class household, looking at buying a home, looking at price gouging, looking at the child tax credit that, as we know, from the American Rescue Plan, cut child poverty by 50% in this country. That's what we're focused on. And I think, you know, any conversation.
But people do want details, though, right? And she started to lay out some of them. And I was digging into it, Congressman. And for example, on taxes, right? It's reasonable to know what you're going to pay in taxes. That's not a big request, right? So here's some of what the vice president was talking about today. First off, there are 162 million taxpayers in the United States, okay? She was talking about the child tax credit. I went through these numbers. 46 million people, 46 million taxpayers tap into the child tax credit. The earned income tax credit, another 23 million. The Affordable Care Act, health insurance, she wants to cut taxes there, 21 million. Add all this up, you get 90 million, and it's probably smaller than that because there's likely some overlap here, right? There's 162 million taxpayers in this country, Congressman. You, for example, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not tapping into the child tax credit as a member of Congress. You're not doing any of this either. There's some 70 million taxpayers out there, I think including yourself, who don't know what the vice president wants from them as it relates to taxes.
Well, I think, look, more of those policies are to come, but let's be very clear. Former President Trump— But
doesn't she owe details now, I guess, is the point?
That's part of a campaign, Blake, and we will get those along the way. This was the first major policy drop, as we've noted, and we know what former President Trump has put forward, an extension of those the tax cuts that cut the corporate tax rate to a level that corporations weren't even seeking. When we look at the concentration of wealth that has occurred because of those tax cuts, we know there is more work to do. So we're going to hear the vice president continue to lay out the case for why we need to invest in creating opportunities versus doubling down on trickle-down economics.
Okay, the case to come from the vice president, I hear you say. Here's some of the argument. You mentioned Donald Trump. Here's what he was saying today. I'll get your reaction, or in the recent days. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? And why hasn't she done it?
Why hasn't she done it, Congressman?
Well, look, I think you have seen the latest numbers. Inflation is at the lows that we haven't seen in years. And it took a lot of work. We were at the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic. We know the chain reaction that had on the entirety of our economy. And now we are seeing the benefits of real thoughtful policy from President Biden and Vice President Harris. So, in fact, they have been on the case. President Trump is frankly just focused on name calling and distractions from the progress that has been made. That's undisputable if you talk to any economist.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.